Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is December 1st, 2023, and we are in the Old Testament. We're in the book of Job, and we're going to read chapter 4 and 5 today. Got a little Odessa here with us. Say hi to everybody. Okay. And we've said over repeatedly here that Job is a hard story to understand and make sense of. Lots of people struggle with it, so if you are, don't worry about it. Main thing, work your way through it. And as you work your way through it a few times, it starts to make more and more sense to you. Like I said before, one of the best ways to help you understand this is stop trying to make it into a true story. That's what we try and do with most of the stories we read in the Bible. Is we want to say, oh, this is something that really happened, and it's telling us exactly the way it happened. That's not the case here with Job. And kind of said the key to that is looking at the first two chapters and how they open in heaven, and understand that, okay, that's not trying to tell me this is exactly how it works in heaven. It's setting up a scenario that's going to help, that supports the rest of this book. It's not trying to show me everything about God. It's not even trying to show me real things about God. It's just setting up a situation. It tells us, hey, God is in charge. All the host answers to him. Even Satan answers to him. Even though he's fallen, he's still under God's authority. And that's basically what it's showing us, is the authority of God. It's no mercies, no love, nothing like that. Just we want to see the authority. And its main goal is to set up that idea of, why is there suffering? Because God allows it. Why does God allow it? Because he's sovereign. He can do what he wants. And that's what we're going to explore through this series of dialogues between Job and his friends and people around. And eventually we even get God comes in and weighs in on it. And then we conclude. So again, this is a set piece, I guess is a good way to say it. Now, we didn't talk about the reading yesterday very much in what it was. It was Job lamenting his fate, essentially. Now, he doesn't curse out God, so we see that obedience and that he's the righteous man that God says he is. But he says, you know what, if all God was going to do was lift me up to throw me to the ground, he could have just thrown me to the ground and left it there. Now one of his friends is going to answer, and his friend is basically going to say, hey, you know what, you must have sinned. And that's basically the theme from all of the friends is, you did something. God, you're being punished because you sinned. Now, go back to those verses in heaven, and we say that they're carefully constructed to support this story. When we saw yesterday Job giving his impassioned, grief-filled soliloquy, we understood none of it was really true. Okay. Yeah, God didn't raise him up to dash him down. This is, God is elevating him, even though there's all kinds of sorrow and grief going on. God is pointing to him, going, "Hey, this is the guy you guys should all be emulating up here. In fact, you guys over there in the first row, spread out, because when Job gets here, that's where he's going to sit. He's that amazing." So Job is thinking, "Wow, this is God is kicking me, and he just created me to stomp all over me." But the scene up in heaven is, wow, God is pointing at him going, that's the guy. That's the guy. So he's actually being elevated. When we see Job's friends come in and they want to say, oh, this is because you were sinned, or this because of this. Again, we have that scene in heaven where we say, no, that's not true either. So that's, as we see this back and forth of the arguing, we've got that behind the scenes where we say, okay, they're going in the wrong direction. They're looking at it from here, and why me? Why, okay, if that's God's will, but I don't agree with that, so it shouldn't happen. And that's how that story is constructed. And then eventually we get to the point where God looks down and says, no, okay, this is the answer that you guys were never going to get to, because you're the created and I'm the creator. And I'm the one that dictates what happens in creation, not you. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Job, and we're going to read chapters 4 and 5. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, if one attempts a word with you, will you become weary? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Surely you have instructed many, and you have strengthened weak hands. Your words have upheld him who was stumbling. and you have strengthened the feeble knees. But now it comes upon you, and you are weary. It touches you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence, your confidence, and the integrity of your ways your hope? Remember now, whoever perished being innocent. Where were the upright ever cut off? Even as I have seen those who plow iniquity, and sow trouble, reap the same. By the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his anger they are consumed. The roaring of the lion, the voice of the fierce lion, and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. Now a word was secretly brought to me, and my ear received a whisper of it, and disquieting thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falls on men. Fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones shake. Then a spirit passed before my face, the hair on my body stood up, it stood still, but I could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. There was silence. Then I heard a voice saying, Can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can a man be more pure than his Maker? If he puts no trust in his servants, if he changes his angels with air, how much more those who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed before a moth? They are broken in pieces from morning till evening. They perish forever with no one regarding. Does not their own excellence go away? They die even without wisdom. Call out now. Is there anyone who will answer you? And to which of the holy ones will you turn? For wrath kills a foolish man, and envy slays a simple one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his dwelling place. His sons are far from safety. They are crushed in the gate, and there is no deliverer. Because the hungry eat up his harvest, taking it even from the thorns, and the snare snatches their substances. For affliction does not come from the dust, nor does trouble spring from the ground. Yet man is born to trouble, as the sparks fly upward. But as for me, I would seek God, and to God I would commit my cause. Who does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. He gives rain on the earth and sends waters on the fields. He sets on high those who are lowly, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He frustrates the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot carry out their plans. He catches the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the cunning comes quickly upon them. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope at noontime as in the night. But he saves the needy from the sword, from the mouth of the mighty, and from their hands, so the poor have hope, and injustice shuts their mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God corrects. Therefore do not despise the chastening of the Almighty, for he bruises, but he binds up. He wounds, but his hands make whole. He shall deliver you in 6 troubles. Yes, in 7 no evil shall touch you. In famine he shall redeem you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You shall be hidden from the scourge of the tongue, and you shall not be afraid of destruction when it comes. You shall laugh at destruction and famine, and you shall not be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For you shall have a covenant with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. You shall know that your tent is to peace. You shall visit your dwelling and find nothing amiss. You shall also know that your descendants shall be many, and your offspring like the grass of the earth. You shall come to the grave at a full age, as a sheaf of grain ripens in its season. Behold, this we have searched out. It is true. Hear it, and know for yourself. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.